everybody, and welcome to Quillpen's Quips, Knitting, and More podcast. This is episode 8. I am Betsy, also known as Quillpen on Ravelry and Instagram. There's also the Quillpen's Quips podcast you can follow on Instagram, and a Quillpen's Quips, Knitting, and More Ravelry group that you can join. And so I recommend that you join the group, then you can be involved in the cow that we're going to be doing that I'll talk about towards the end. And if you introduce yourself in the Introduce Yourself thread, I will give you a shout out on a future podcast. So check that out if you're on Ravelry. And then also my website is www.quillpensquipspodcast.com. And if you do that /blog, that will take you to my blog, that will take you to the show notes for this episode, as well as any previous episodes that you might be catching up on. If you're new to the group, welcome. Thanks for checking me out. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for joining me again. This episode might be a little bit shorter than normal. I'm a little bit under the weather today, between pregnancy, sickness, and a cold that has entered our household over the weekend. I'm just not feeling quite up to par today, so I'm hoping to keep this episode a little bit shorter today, and also just because I don't quite have as much to show you, which we'll talk about in a minute. So without further ado, let's get started. So first is what is off, on, and will be on my needles, and I don't have anything finished to show you. I think it's definitely the first time in the history of the podcast, all 8 episodes, that I haven't had a finished object to show you. But it's also very strange for me to go 2 weeks without finishing a project. But that is because of what is on my needles, and that is the current Stephen West mystery knit-along that's being released you get a clue every Friday in October. So I'm only on clue 3, so it's not done. But this has definitely been the focus of my knitting this month so far. And here's what I have to show you. It's huge. This is the final section of this week's clue. This is section 8, my purple, which is in Hedgehog Fiber, Skinny Singles, Dragonfly. So I'm about a third of the way through this, I think, maybe close to halfway through this section. And then I'll be done with the clue for the week, and I'll be waiting until Friday to come out. So this is 8 sections, 7.5 sections. And I've decided I'm going to either make the medium or the large. I don't know, I'm feeling a really large shawl to just bundle up and wrap up in, especially for this winter when I'm pregnant and I'm not going to want to wear a coat. And I'm going to want something that I can kind of take on and off if I get hot and then cold and hot and cold. So I'm kind of feeling the idea of a big blankety scarf. So I'm going to either do the medium, depending on my yardage. When I finish this row, I'll check my yardage and make sure I'm close to what he's saying. And then in clue 4, you can either, if you could have finished in section 7 and stopped and waited, and then in clue 4 you'll finish, or you could do section 8 for either the medium or the large, and then wait till clue 4 to make that decision. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do section 8, and then wait to see what comes next, to decide if I have enough to do the large or whether I'll just stick with the medium. But these are all Hedgehog Fiber Skinny Singles yarns. My color A is Graphite, which you can see by itself here, Graphite. B is Lagoon. C is Zephyr. And then D is Dragonfly. So that's that. I'm loving it. I'm having a really fun time with it. My first Stephen West, my first mystery knit-along. And this is being housed in my Jambi Smiley project bag. So that is the main thing that's on my needles. In between the clues, because I tend to finish the clues on Tuesday, or so I'm trying to drag this one out a little bit to make it last a little longer. But I usually finish on Tuesday, so that gives me a few days before the next clue comes out. So I've been working on a sock design that I mentioned before. I was sort of thinking I might release for my birthday, which is next month. I don't know if I'm going to have it done for my birthday. And this project is currently being housed in this fun Anchor project bag. Back when I released the Anchor designs at the end of last month, a friend found this on Etsy and showed it to me. And so I got it, and it's really cute. The shop is Accidental Bliss. I don't think I have, I don't have the card with me, but it's Accidental Bliss on Etsy. I'll tag it in the show notes. And this yarn that I'm using is Miss Bab's Yummy 2-ply in the Morticia colorway. And I'm not going to show you the design, but, and the bag from Accidental Bliss came with this project keeper leaf. It's very cute. So that's as far as I've come in this sample. It took me a little while to figure out the stitch design I wanted to use, and kind of how to work the two that I wanted to use together. So I was knitting up swatches all of last week, and then, last 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was actually working it into a sample to see how it looks in the actual sock form. So that's what I'm doing in the meantime. I don't know if it's actually going to end up being released for my birthday. But keep an eye on the blog and Instagram, and if it is, I will definitely be posting on there, and there will definitely be, it'll definitely be free for a time. There will be a free coupon code that I will be sure to advertise, so keep an eye on those things, and we'll see if I get that done. If not, it'll just be released later as a regular sock design, and that'll be fine too. So those are what is currently on my needles. Then next, what's going to be on next month in November starts our Painted Windows Cow, our Painted Windows knit along that our group is doing, and we have a few people that are going to join in. So there's going to be some other people's work to see and some discussion, and hopefully someone will finish in time and we can have a prize. So this is what we're making, it's called Painted Windows by Casapinka, and it you really should get on Ravelry and look at her pictures on Ravelry, because she has better ones. She doesn't have very good ones in the pattern, but there are some prettier ones in Ravelry, and you can also see everyone else's that have made it and their color choices to give you some idea. And the pattern itself seems very simple. The trickiest part we've been talking about is actually picking the colors, because you do want them to be quite a contrast, and because you hold them double through the window part, so you want to make sure that they don't blend, the two colors that you choose don't blend too much, so that you can still see the windows. And when you look at other people's projects, you can kind of see what the variety looks like, because there are some people that picked more muted colors. And then with that in mind, I changed my colors again. I had shown you the fire pit yarn on the last podcast, but I brought it in person to one of our knit nights, and a couple of people there agreed that it was probably too tonal, that there were sections of it that were too light and wouldn't be contrasting enough for if they met at one of the windows. So I changed everything up. I picked a new neutral, which is Allegra, Manos del Uruguay Allegra, which I love, love, love to work with. And this is black, color A2500 black. So this is going to be the equivalent of her gray, silver, whatever that is. Then this is actually sort of also a stash enhancement segue, but I got this from Stress Knits, which is a podcast that I've been watching and enjoying recently. And this is her Sparkle Sock, which is a 75/25 of superwash merino nylon and then gold stellina in her Impulse colorway, which is a one of a kind. And it's sparkly, and it's got some purples and teals and some pinks and blues. So this is, I think, gonna be, my windows, my variegated bright color for the windows, and then for this fun edging with this black. And I think it's gonna really pop, and I think it'll be fine, and I think I'm gonna love it. Stress Knits, she dyes her yarn, and her shop updates are not quite so frantic as some of the others. Of course, she might pick up now that I say that. But so I went on her shop update, and there was this one and another one of hers called I Tried Surfing Once. That was also kind of blues and my kind of colors. And I just hemmed and hawed for a few days. I was like, well, I'm going to think about it for a couple of days. If I still love it, I'll come back. And by the time I decided that I really did want it, I went back and it had been purchased. Which really is the moral of the story with these hand-dyed. If there is something you love, you need to get it soon. So I didn't let that happen with this one. I went ahead and purchased this one so that I didn't miss out on that one. So I think those are going to be, together, my painted windows. Maybe I should hold it not in front of the black fireplace. So that's what I think I'm going to do for my painted windows. Then the other thing I have coming up after painted windows, at the end of November, the painted windows cowl. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Can you tell? I'm not quite all here. Painted windows cowl will run from November 1st until the end of January, which would be the 31st. So overall, there's 3 months to complete it, which should give everybody plenty of time, including all of their holiday knits, gift knitting, and just other stuff that comes up with the new year. So I think 3 months should give everybody plenty of time. I am a monogamous knitter, so just looking at the pattern is not difficult. It doesn't look like it's going to be hard at all. So as a monogamous knitter, I don't think this is going to take me very long. And it doesn't really matter since I'm not eligible for the prizes anyway. But, so I think I'm going to get this done fairly quickly. So then, for the end of November, I signed up for the Gilmore Girls Year in the Life Mystery Knit-Along, which I am very excited about. The design is by, I have it written down, Kristen Ashbaugh Helmrich. I'm probably saying that wrong, but she is Marinade Designs on Ravelry. Marinade Designs. The Gilmore Girls Year in the Life Mystery Knit-Along. So she designed a cowl. We know the pattern is going to be a cowl, and it's going to be released in 4 clues. The first clue is released on Thanksgiving Day. The second is released on the day after, which is the day that the Gilmore Girls Year in the Life will air on Netflix. And then the last 2 clues will be released on the Saturday and Sunday following. So it's 4 clues in 4 days. And I think it's a cowl. It's gonna be a quick knit. She teamed up with Knitted Wit for the yarn. So I also ordered that special yarn kit because the colors were gorgeous. I should have taken a picture. But if you look on Ravelry at the Gilmore Girls Year in the Life Mystery Knit-Along by Marinade Designs, you'll see the picture of the yarn from Knitted Wit. And it's like 2 full skeins of a kind of a white speckled, and then 4 smaller balls of solid colors in fall colorways. So I'm excited about that. So here I am doing my first mystery knit along with Stephen West, and I'm going to jump right into another one. So I think that'll be fun, and it'll just add a little bit more excitement to that weekend and the release of the Gilmore Girls special. So I'm excited about that. So that's what's coming up. And then, like I said, that was a little bit of a transition into my stash enhancement. I have a little bit more. Yesterday was a trunk show at our local yarn shop, one of our local yarn shops. from Oink Yarns. And let me see if I have her card. I do. This is Oink Pigments. Fine hand-dyed yarn. That's her card. And so I got a couple of her sport weight skeins, which I'm really excited about. This is called Lexi's Lilies. This is her Oink Sport, which is 100% superwash merino. And I got this because these two colors especially say Jamaica to me, and I do love Jamaica. And so I'm thinking this will be a really fun hat if I add my own black brim and then knit this up into a hat. I think that'll be a really fun Jamaica inspired hat for the winter. So I'm excited about that. So I got that, and then I also got Merry Knitmas, which is also the Oink Sport, and it's just a really rich green and red. I feel like the colors are not coming up true to color. They look much darker on the camera than they do in real life. It's actually a very bright red and a very bright green, and so I think this will be a fun Christmas, probably a hat too. I'm kind of into hats right now. Something fun for the holidays. I don't have a lot of Christmas themed yarn, and I don't have a lot of Christmas themed things for myself, so I thought this might be fun as we start getting into the holiday spirit. And then I also picked up a pair of her earrings, which are little skeins of yarn, and I just got the solid green. She had a lot of fun colorways, but I just picked the solid green. So those were some fun things that I got. And then last but not least, oh no, I have two more things to show you. First off, I'll show you this first. First off, I did get West Knits Best Knits. I got my own copy of Stephen West's book. So this has a significant number of his patterns from up till now. So a lot of the previous year's mystery knit-alongs, a lot of his famous shawl designs. So I am very excited. I think I've caught a little bit of the Stephen West bug in doing this, and I'm just so impressed by his knowledge and his mind, and where mathematically he can take things and figure that out and play with color and all of that. So I'm excited to try my hand at some of these that I've heard a lot of people talking about, and I have all of the patterns in one volume. So I'm excited to have that. And then finally, I wanted to show you, this is really not at all knitting related, but in response to my pattern release, someone sent me a gift, a friend of ours that used to live here. I haven't seen them in years. They moved down south, but she sent me a surprise gift from Etsy of a set of these bracelets, and you'll see this one has an anchor, and then this one is just plain black, and this one is teal with black beads, and then this is a black and teal and gray braid, and they just tighten. They're really easy to get on and off, and they each have a little star at the closure because these are Tiny Stars bracelets. This is her Etsy shop information. I think her name, the lady that makes them, I think her name is Lauren. But this is cool because this is a local to me Etsy shop. She is right here in town where I live, and I know that some of our viewers are also local. And these are just really cute, and this came as a set of 4. They were all in one bundle. But if anyone's looking for a local gift idea for someone over the holidays, definitely check out her Etsy shop. I will also post a link to this on the show notes. But I just thought that was a really fun, sweet gift in response to my Anchor Design release last month. So that is it for stash enhancement and acquisitions. So let's move on. Next is reading and watching, and reading has slowed down quite a bit. our book club finished Rebecca. I really enjoyed it. I think most of the people in the book club did. We had a really good discussion about it. And next, we're going a little bit lighter. We also don't have as much time for the next one because we're meeting earlier than normal, but is The Little Prince. I forget who wrote it, but The Little Prince is our next one. I am waiting on my copy to come from the library. So I'm waiting on that. In the meantime, I've been reading some excerpts from Knitting Yarns by Anne Hood, which is just a collection of short articles, stories, what have you, that famous writers are writing about knitting. And I've been enjoying that. It's kind of just a nice light in the middle. I can read it with the kids around and not have to pay too much attention and still enjoy. So that's what I've been reading. And then watching, we've focused on Arrow. We realized that somehow we missed season 4 coming out on Netflix. And season 5 is now on TV. So we're trying to quickly watch through all of season 4 of Arrow so that we can catch back up on season 5 and then catch up on the shows that we're missing that are current. So we've been watching all of season 4 of Arrow. Arrow's a funny story. We hadn't heard of it, but then my husband won something from the radio, and he does that. Like, he'll just call in and win things. And so this case, it was a prize package all related to Arrow. So there's like a t-shirt and I think a hat and included season 1 on DVD. And we had never even heard of it at that point. And so we started watching it and we're like, this is actually really good. And it's based on the Green Arrow from DC Comics. And so we're in season 4, and everybody that you thought has died has been somehow come back to life, or didn't actually die, or is back to life but not themselves, or crazy things are happening. So we've been enjoying that. But we're watching a lot of Arrow, and then during the days I've been watching Gilmore Girls. I'm in season 1 still. I just started a couple this weekend to prepare for Gilmore Girls Year in the Life. And I forgot how much I missed it. I haven't watched this show from start to finish since Andrew and I were married, and I kind of made him sit down and watch it to be like, you need to watch this to understand me, like my level of humor, my love of coffee, things like that. So I think the last time I watched it all straight through from start to finish was with Andrew when we got married, and that was 5 years ago. And so otherwise I've just been watching, favorite episodes here and there, or if it's on TV or something. But so I'm starting again. I don't like the episode where she gets hit by the deer and she, misses her test. I don't like that one. And I don't love the one of the dance and then she and Dean get left at fall asleep at Miss Patty's. So I did kind of skip through those. But otherwise I'm watching it. And you start to remember how much of things that I've adopted into my everyday vernacular are actually from Gilmore Girls. And I'm starting to wonder, I have a friend who I just found out has never seen any Gilmore Girls. And you start to wonder, like, have I said these things around her and she didn't pick up on it? Like, one of my favorites and I realize it's from the very first episode, is when Michelle is working the desk, and he's saying, people are particularly stupid today. I can't talk to any more of them. And I say that, but I say that a lot. People are particularly stupid today. I can't talk to any more of them. And then you think, if someone doesn't instantly connect that to a Michelle reference, then that sounds really rude. But anyways, so I'm enjoying just reliving it. I was original Gilmore Girls fan. I watched it when it first came. I watched the pilot on TV, and kept up with it all through high school and college, and so it's been fun to go back and rewatch season 1. I'm not a huge Dean fan. I'm not a Dean. I'm not Team Dean, and I'm not a huge Max Medina fan. Is anybody a Max? I mean, when there's Luke, is anybody a Max fan? So I'm a little ready to move on from the relationships in season 1, but otherwise, I'm enjoying remembering season 1 and Suki and Jackson getting together and all of that fun stuff. So that's what I've been watching. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to watch as soon as I finish this podcast while it's uploading. Okay, so I think that's it for reading and watching too, so let's move on. Our final section is our sign language section, and it is next week is Halloween. We learned that last week, or last podcast. So I wanted to do some more Halloween signs. So, candy, that's an important one. Candy, just your index finger in the dimple of your cheek, and you twist it. Candy. Vampire, it's a bent V. What you put in the side of the mouth, or side of your neck. Vampire. Skeleton, also a bent V. Both hands are bent V. You cross at the wrist and you touch your shoulders or your chest right in front of your shoulders. Skeleton. If you do it out, it's just bone or bones, but touching is skeleton. Then we have blood. This is red, the sign for red, as if your lips are red. So red that's dripping down. So blood. Then we have zombie. You're gonna have to get the blank look on your face. Your arms go straight out like you would. Pretty much this is one of those understood even if you don't know sign language signs. So zombie. Monster. You open 5 hands that you claw. Bent 5s. Monster. And mummy. Like you're all wrapped up and laying back. Mummy. So let's review. That was a lot. I had a long list of Halloween signs. So we have candy, vampire, skeleton, blood, zombie, monster, mummy. Happy Halloween! And I think that's it for today's segment. So thank you so much for joining me and hanging out with me. I love spending this time with you guys and getting to chat about some knitting stuff and some other everyday stuff. I hope it's starting to feel like fall where you are. It finally is here. We had some cooler temperatures this weekend. I got to wear a sweater and boots. It was very exciting. It's a little warmer again today, but we're finally starting to see fall coming, and I'm excited about that. So until next time, happy knitting!